Hello and welcome to We Could Do It Better. I am Jonah, and coming around the table in just 1 second is my co-host Grant Maple. I'm
Grant
Jonah Maple.
Maple?
This is Grant Coven.
It's because we're like brothers.
Yeah. We are in a new time slot, so if you want to tune in at this hour,
I don't know. I feel
us.
kind of bad. I don't know if people, if you're new here, welcome. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're disrupting your music on your commute, but you're stuck with us for the next hour. So yeah, we do have the new 12:30 to 1:30 time slot. But I'm excited. It means we get to talk about all my nerdy stuff sooner.
Yeah, so this is We Could Do It Better. We like a nerd superhero comic book, pop culture review and news show.
We've been friends since birth.
Yeah, literally since birth.
And yeah, this is our season 2. We had a very successful season 1 last semester, and we're so excited to bring all the hype. I mean, we've got so many fun projects before this school year ends that we'll be able to cover. I'm so excited. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it because we do not have a lot of time to get through all of the stuff that we have to get through. So we're going to...
It's been 3 weeks?
No, it's been
4 weeks?
It's been closer to 4 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
So we've got a lot, and I think the first thing we have to talk about is the Superman trailer breakdown.
Which I think was released the day after our last episode.
No, literally, because what I did for our last episode was I was editing our last episode of season 1, and the Superman trailer dropped. So at the beginning of the episode, I put a little note for all of the people who watch it. I'm like, hey, this is really weird, but the Superman trailer just dropped, and we can't talk anything about it, but we will absolutely break it down when we're back from winter break. So here we are.
I've probably watched it like 5 times.
I think I'm with you on that.
If anyone can tell, I'm a huge Superman fan.
Yeah.
Especially over the past year or so. And first time I saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool stuff. I was kind of lukewarm, and then I've watched it one more, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this.
My hype was kind of strange because I watched it for the first time. I'm like, all right, that's respectable. And then second time, I was like, okay, all right, this is winning me over. And then I kept watching it again and again and again, and I was like, oh, all right, I'm pretty excited. The only thing that I'm going to say about the Superman trailer is it kind of looks overstuffed, just a little bit.
I can imagine that this will be a long movie.
I hope it is, because look, when you're starting off a brand new cinematic universe and you're not doing origin stories, which I love that we're not doing any more origin stories, but there's still a lot of world building that you have to do within 2.5, maybe pushing 3 hours. So it needs to be just the right of introduction to this world, but not cramming it with characters and a bunch of overlapping arcs and stories and stuff like that. Other than that, I think it looks amazing. Metropolis looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like Metropolis and not just another city.
It doesn't look like a Metropolis that's afraid to look like Metropolis.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, it's not just New York City, but never cloudy or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. It is called a teaser trailer. There's only 2 or 3 words in it.
Home.
There's only
Take me home.
Yeah, and then I think one other person says one there are people shouting at him.
Right, and that guy throws a soda cannon at
but
back at the head.
So because from it, there's not really an idea of what the story is. I'm sure a ton of people have their theories, but we don't really know that, for example. But there's a lot of stuff that we got to see. There's a Metamorpho. We get to see.
Metamorpho looks great. I got introduced to Metamorpho from Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
And he was around for at least a couple episodes too. He wasn't just some one-off character.
He's one of the he is
he's bizarre.
If not a fan favorite, a writer and artist favorite. So a lot of anime TV shows like to put him in a lot of stuff. He was in the Justice League cartoon. He was in he was in Young Justice. Even if he doesn't make sense, they're just hey, you want to do an episode where Metamorpho's there?
Yeah.
So yeah. That's fun. There's like Green Lantern, Guy Gardner who has like the dumbest haircut, and it
But
looks.
he's supposed to.
Yes,
He's
and, like,
supposed to.
and this was my reaction, and I think basically a universal reaction where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, I hate that haircut. It's perfect."
Right. Because I hope that we get to grow to hate Guy Gardner. I
Yeah.
hope he's awful. He does look like a pretty formidable ally to Superman at the moment, though. Like, clearly, they're in the bottom of, what was the tower? It was,
I forget.
Lord?
It
Was it Lord?
it,
Maxwell Lord?
Yeah, yeah, maybe, I don't know. There are a lot of Metropolis billionaires.
But like clearly there were people like screaming because of course Superman is going to be seen as a controversial figure in this movie, because I'm sure for multiple reasons. I mean, there's ongoing wars, and you saw a little boy wishing for Superman, with a flag with his emblem on it. So this movie might get political, which of course Superman is a political figure, whether you want to talk about it or not. But no, I am cautiously optimistic about this.
There's a lot of stuff to like. The Mr. Terrific was really cool. The thing that sold it to me, like I like a lot of people were sold immediately on crypto. I was like, that's cool. What sold it to me was him saving the little girl. That's like such a cool shot. Yeah. But we do have to move on.
do.
I wish we could talk about this for 2
And
hours.
we will probably get more trailers leading up to its release, so maybe we'll get more dialogue because we only pretty much heard crypto or just home, take me home, and we heard a Superman chant twice.
Yeah.
But yes, so Kevin Feige officially announced a Black Panther 3, and I know for me it was like kind of like, really? Okay.
Doing well because and that was leaked like a month.
Yeah.
I think like Denzel Washington accidentally like leaked that he was going to be in a Black Panther movie.
Like and that was something we talked about in a prior episode too. So my idea is it's being heavily rumored that they're going to recast T'Challa, which I am totally on board with. I loved what Chadwick Boseman did for Black Panther in, whatever you want to call the MCU, 616, whatever.
The MCU.
But my theory is Secret Wars is going to introduce us to a different universe's Black Panther, and maybe an incursion will allow them to crash into each other, and we'll get a brand new universe. Because I'm thinking like the Avengers might just be gone after Secret Wars. Like the X-Men will probably take the MCU after Secret Wars, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, I am hoping, because Black Panther still had so much story left, or T'Challa, I guess I should say, still had so much left because he was just introduced in 2016.
Yeah.
And then Chadwick Boseman died, and I felt like there was so much more story left. And I remember I was cutting the grass in front of my house, and I got a news alert saying Chadwick Boseman died. So I was just standing out in my lawn crying. It was awful.
Yeah.
But yes, hype for Black Panther 3. I have a feeling it'll occur after Secret Wars.
Yeah. We also know. Oh, we also both watched Kraven the Hunter.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Oh.
I never watched Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, there was a.
I got fed up with supporting Sony projects. I am done wasting my money on Sony projects until they actually make something that looks like something worth viewing.
Yeah. So
I know it was bad, wasn't it?
It was kind of bad. I liked it better than the Venom movies, but I also didn't like the Venom movies more than.
Now, I did watch the first 8 minutes of Kraven. They put that out online, and I was like, okay, sure. But after seeing the Rotten Tomatoes and all that other stuff, I'm like, it's just going to be Madam Web 2.0.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's weird. I mean, I liked Madam Web. I think there's stronger parts of Madam Web than other things. Kraven the Hunter, I will say this, the fight scenes were cool. there were good aspects of it, but like you could tell like there was a lot of issues,
Right.
And there was like a lot of replotting, and there's some ADR that doesn't. I mean, some points you got to be like, what is going on right here?
Well, I did see, I don't know if it was the end of the movie or if it was an end credit, but I did see Chameleon.
Yes, Chameleon did show up.
Like, despite everything, Chameleon looked like Chameleon.
Yeah, I was like, whoa,
Like,
that's so cool.
That's really cool. I would love it if we see him somewhere in Tom Holland's future.
I like Chameleon. I think he's a fun
If you want to bring a
guy.
street-level criminal who's still very powerful and very dangerous, because especially with the whole identity crisis that Peter Parker went through back in No Way Home, Chameleon fits.
Yeah.
He fits really well, because if you don't know who the Chameleon is, he's pretty much a human shapeshifter. He can kind of disguise himself as just about anyone.
Yeah, he was Spider-Man's second villain after like the guy who killed Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
First super villain, if you want to call him that. Back then, he just made masks.
And he took up Spider-Man's, like, he literally donned the Spider-Man suit, right?
Yeah, it's early Lee Ditko stuff.
And tries
sure
to
is.
like, as if Peter Parker hasn't already had his reputation destroyed enough. We're gonna imagine if they announce Chameleon and Spider-Man just starts doing, it's not really Spider-Man, but it's Chameleon, and he just starts doing horribly awful things in New York City, and then Spider-Man has to save his name again.
Yeah, kind of like the Craven Last Hunt, which reached me because I've also read Craven Last Hunt, and I like the story. I really like the character of Craven. I think that like coolest thing about him is like his weird sense of morality.
Yeah.
They like he's kind of like a take on like the serial killer trope is like, oh, like the greatest hunt is man, but like it's the Marvel universe, so the greatest hunt is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They're just and like he's like, oh, I kill these endangered species because I respect them. They decide to not do any of that. He like protects animals.
So weird.
And like protect, and like that's weird. Like that's
not how he should operate.
Because like
at
we've
all.
seen that before.
Right.
The point of like it was just like, oh, this is just inherently less interesting because you think that like having like because you can't make a movie where like Craven like the Craven, actual Craven is like the good guy,
right?
Because like he's not.
That's where it lost me.
Yeah,
that's really why I didn't ultimately go show up, because he essentially is a animal rights activist. Isn't he?
Sure. You can
Right?
call him that. He just lives in Russia and like fights poachers.
Right, and that's dumb. That's so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can see it if you want. The action scenes are pretty cool. CGI's all right. There's some pretty good performances.
Yeah. But anyways, after the absolute crapshoot that
Yeah.
Craven and really the past 6 years ever since Venom kicked off?
Yeah. Craven didn't make a lot of money.
Right.
I as you know, I work at a movie theater. No one was seeing it.
Right. So naturally, Sony is looking to get some of their money back. So reportedly, Sony is looking to sell all of the rights, like Craven, like Rhino, Venom, even Madam Web, if that's someone that they the MCU wants to implement sometime. That might be on the table, and I have a feeling like Marvel has been trying to acquire all their rights back for the longest time because they need to. Like, they just got X-Men a couple of years back, which was an absolute win because now we've got the Mutant Saga just after Secret Wars. So it's a good move. Sony can make their money back. They've still got other awesome IPs that they own.
Yeah, and like.
Spider-Verse is still gonna be good whenever we get beyond the Spider-Verse, but
if we do, but yeah, and they have confirmed that basically they're done with trying their whole cinematic universe thing. The Secret Six movies, basically been canned. Yeah. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Sony Universe.
Spunk, I think is what it called. I forget what it's.
That's weird.
Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. I think that's it.
No, that's weird.
We also Also, another thing, Batman Part 2 has been delayed by another year from
Which is
October
crazy.
2nd, 2026 to October 1st, 2027.
So we're more than 2.5 years away from the next Batman movie, which is really sad. But when you also think about it, okay, well, yeah, no, it is really sad because Batman came out in 2022. The Batman, not Batman. The Batman came out in 2022, and now it's going to be a 5-year gap.
Yeah. I also saw Matt Reeves said something about that's a long gap, which makes me like, it's like, what does that mean for the story? Are they still gonna like? Is it gonna be like, how long is it gonna be? Who knows? I assume it's just like weird stuff.
I heard that they're still planning on shooting this year.
Huh.
But they're, I guess all the post-production stuff, I mean, or, even just regular production might lead into 2026, which means if they are trying to edit heavy, then I guess 2027 doesn't look like a super unrealistic release date. But still, it's just like the first Batman is my favorite. Like the Batman is my favorite Batman movie of all time, period. Sorry, Dark Knight. I know people will forever hold Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight above everything else. Heath Ledger was an amazing Joker, but at its core, the Batman is the best Batman story that I've seen on screen.
Yeah. It is great, and I have a lot of trust in Matt Reeves through that and through the Planet of the Apes movies. Like he like Matt Reeves and like the other people he's working with, he has a co-screenwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll wait for it. We're getting a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Next year, we're getting Supergirl one tomorrow. Speaking of which, we didn't put this there. Speaking of which, we both forgot about it. Speaking of which, there's a new casting. Jason Momoa has been confirmed to be Lobo in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, if you don't know who that is.
Which he's been harnessing that role for the longest time.
Lobo is like a alien bounty hunter who looks like Jason Momoa, but with like painted white skin.
When Jason Momoa was auditioning, he was trying to audition for Lobo.
Yeah.
And he got Aquaman. He was like, what?
Yeah, Jason Momoa, like he's like he's been like a huge Lobo fan for the whole time, and like his like energy like super works with Lobo, and that's so much fun.
Like cigars and bicycles, or like motorcycles, like that is the vibe. Like just Jason Momoa's physicality, I'm like, that looks like someone who rides steel hogs and smokes cigars.
Yeah, that's very fun. Looking forward to that. We do have to move on, but just like all positive. That's so great. We get to see Lobo, and it's Jason Momoa, like the person who's born to play Lobo.
Oh yeah.
You also saw Nosferatu.
I did see Nosferatu, and we've only got 2 minutes until we have to wrap up Multiverse of Movies and head to Don't Change the Channel. But I did see Nosferatu. I went to go see it twice because it was so good. I have not seen a horror movie that has been so gory and psychologically thrilling and disturbing like Nosferatu. It was gripping, and it's still set in the same time as Nosferatu, like the OG Nosferatu, the one that came out nearly 100 years ago. So they did a great job keeping the period together. And I don't want to spoil anything yet, but it was almost beautiful, like because of how well the horror elements worked together. You had jump scares, you had gore, you had psychological thrilling moments. It was amazing. It is definitely one of my favorite horror movies in the past 5 years, which is saying a lot because I see a lot of horror.
There's been a lot of good horror.
Yeah.
Recently.
I mean, Black Phone also was amazing by Scott Derrickson. That was awesome. And that's maybe like my number 2 pick right now. But I am also really excited to see The Monkey. Have you seen trailers for The Monkey yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's basically
I will break down The Monkey because I will go see that when it hits theaters.
And you also there's a potential casting for an X-Men.
Yeah.
That's been
so
rumored.
I think Cynthia Erivo. She played Elphaba in Wicked.
Oh yeah.
She was actually recently interviewed, and she wasn't even asked about Marvel. She brought it up herself, where she has expressed an interest in playing Storm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And I look at Alphaba because I did go see Wicked, and I'm thinking about the scene from like Defying Gravity, where she's got the big billowing cape out from behind her and she's floating up in the air. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about Storm. I'm like, yep, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I think she'd do so well as Storm. So
yeah, that's cool.
Just a little nugget. It's just a little rumor. She's trying to maybe channel that same energy that Jason Momoa tried to do for Lobo. But yeah, so that would be really exciting because I feel like Marvel is still trying to rope some A-listers. I think Irvio is definitely now what we could consider like a star. Especially with the success of Wicked. I've heard some not credible rumors about some potential Stranger Things actors being recruited into the MCU, but I'm going to wait and sit on that until I actually get anything more credible that comes across my desk. So, anyways, we got to go to Don't Change the Channel, which is super exciting because the last episode of Creature Commandos came out today.
And we have not seen it yet.
We have not seen it yet.
I have been busy with school.
I woke up, went to the gym, had to go to class, and have not had time to see the season finale of Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
But what we can say, it is a gory, monstrous Suicide Squad.
Yes, we are not going to spoil the first 6 episodes, or we're not going to try to. This episode 7 released today, as you said.
We will give you guys 1 week, and then we are fully breaking down Creature Commandos right here.
Yeah, since this is a new time slot, like we will say like a warning, like, hey, if you want to come back in 10 minutes next week. But yeah, this is very fun. There's a lot of Easter eggs in there. This is very James Gunn, but like in a good way.
The most shocking part, without spoiling anything, is how sad it is.
Yeah, I mean that's not shocking to me. I'm expecting that for James Gunn at this point.
If you look at James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, it was overall a really funny movie. Like, yes, the characters had trauma some way or another, but it was never as sad as Creature Commandos.
Yeah, but like Peacemaker's really sad, and like you saw those Guardians movies, like
right? No, I did, but like, it's just like it breaks your heart. I was crying over a freaking robot.
Yes, the robot's very great. Love G.I. Robot.
Right, and the
best character.
The freaking Weasel. If you've seen the Suicide Squad and if you stayed for one of the mid-credit scenes, the Weasel didn't drown in Corto Maltese. Like, he is very much alive, and he's on the Creature Commandos team. And his story, also super sad. You would have never thought that an alleged child-eating rodent would have such a sad backstory.
Yeah. Very sad. The voice acting has been very good.
It's so entertaining. David Harbour plays Eric Frankenstein, and I love it. I love it so much.
Detestable character, but great acting. And like Nina and
I had a fight with my not like a fight, but an argument with my girlfriend about who is right and who is wrong between the bride and Eric Frankenstein.
Well, we're not going to get into that.
Right. We'll maybe save that for next week, but this is a show that actually sparks conversation and divides people, and I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very great. Sean Gunn did it. I'm very impressed by his,
because he did Weasel and G.I. Robot.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Viola Davis, of course, doing a great job. Amanda Waller,
so menacing.
Grillo. Yeah,
so menacing.
Like the best actor.
Yeah.
Frank Grillo is also doing a good job as. But yeah, everything was great. The animation is good. I mean, it's like it's probably not like at the same quality as like X-Men 97 or like some other recent stuff, but it is like very good. Probably like around like Invincible style. And it goes for that. It's very gory. It's something that could not have been made.
It's crazy.
5 years ago.
You want to talk about what the bride did in that last episode?
Yeah. Some stuff happens.
Yeah.
Probably not something to watch with your kids, everyone.
No. This is that is very good. Like, yes, this is not something you want to show your kids. It might be a cartoon, and there might be a funny looking rodent on the front, but this is in a robot. But this is not kid friendly at all.
Yeah. It's also renewed for season 2. I was not expecting
I'm
that.
so excited.
Um,
Well, that's the thing is like the Creature Commandos are more than just that team that was introduced to us. There have been several iterations of the Creature Commandos in DC continuity. I'm actually reading a line of Creature Commando comic books right now, and it's got a completely different set of team.
Yeah.
We've got, you've got a vampire. I think there was an actual werewolf included. Rick Flag Sr. is still around for this, which is he's the dad to Rick Flag, who was also in the Suicide Squad movie. But yeah, no, there are, even if a lot of people die in the season finale, there is still always room to do more Creature Commando seasons.
yes. We do have to move on. You saw What If season 3. I've not seen it yet. I've only seen season 1. I'll get there
Wait,
eventually.
did you put this down or did I put this down?
You put that down. Have you
did.
not seen it either?
Okay, here's the thing. I watched the first 15 minutes of the first episode. I did not like it. I after that, I just started doom scrolling Instagram. That's
Okay.
how boring it was.
Really?
I am sad because the first season of What If was really good. The second season was all right, but just like the first episode is just a mech Avengers trying to suit up to it. It lost me. Like I loved movies like Pacific Rim and stuff like that, and it did have Pacific Rim elements, but just it was lost on me so hard, and I don't know why. I also saw spoilers for the end of the season where they teased a bunch of other what if scenarios, and a lot of people are mad that we didn't get those.
Well, that always happens.
Right. And now I think What If season 3 is done. We're done with What If, no more What If ever, which is really disappointing because the stuff we saw at the end of season 3 of What If is stuff that people actually probably would have wanted to see and not the stuff that we actually got. So I can't tell you a whole lot about What If season 3. I thought about watching the rest of the season just for this show, but I couldn't do it. It was boring.
I might catch up eventually, but I've got a lot. I'm pretty busy nowadays.
Yeah.
You also added one more thing.
I did. So there is a Nova show that is in the works right now, focusing on Richard Rider, the first Nova. Edward Bernero, he's known for his work on the CBS crime drama Criminal Minds. He's been selected as the writer and showrunner, replacing the Moon Knight writer Sabir Pirzada. And I'm really excited about this Nova show because in Avengers Infinity War, Thanos already got the Power Stone, and the Power Stone was on Xandar. And if you know anything about Nova, he really claimed the title Nova after Xandar was destroyed, which means we might actually get to see a really cool flashback to Thanos coming to Xandar and destroying it. And, you've got one of the lone survivors, Richard Rider, who dons the Nova mantle, which is so cool. I'm very excited. It is supposedly supposed to be set up like a space adventure TV show. So yes, very excited about that.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything before I just?
Well, I can.
You can interject.
This is game over. I assume. I think the majority. It's gonna be a little bit longer than normal. We're gonna be talking about Marvel Rivals. I have played it.
You have, and
I really like it.
You are coming over to my apartment to try out the new season that drops on Friday.
Yeah. I don't play video games that very much. I don't have one. I don't have like an Xbox or anything in my dorm.
You should. Though.
I like
you
playing.
Should bring it.
I do. I like playing Cloak and Dagger. I like seeing Jeff. I love Jeff. Everyone loves Jeff's. But yeah, I don't know like what's going on in it though, so I'm gonna hand it over to you.
I just will love to get your reactions and what you have to say to this, and maybe your hype will build up, and maybe you will bring your Xbox to Ball State, and
I don't think I own an Xbox.
Wait, how did you play Marvel Rivals?
My little brothers.
Oh, okay. Well, Adam can get over it. Anyway, so the Marvel Rivals Season 1 trailer has dropped. And in case you don't know what Marvel Rivals is, you can either stay around and get educated about one of the most popular games out in the world right now, or you can come back in 20 minutes when I'm wrapping this up, and we'll be talking about comic books.
Oh, but yeah, it's like Overwatch, but they're people from Marvel.
Right.
Comics.
It's a 6v6 shooter game where you've got this very wide roster of Marvel heroes and now villains to select from, and you'll be able to fight each other. And right now it's just two different game modes. You've got escort the payload and capture the hard point. There are more official terms, but I like my terms better. So anyways, the Marvel Season 1 trailer dropped. Since its release back on December 6th, we've been in what's known as Season 0. They released a half battle pass that was only $5 and didn't have that many rewards. With this new season, there's a bunch of new stuff. It's very related to monster hunting because the main villain for this first season is Dracula. And where there's Dracula, there should be Blade. And when I was watching the trailer, I was waiting to see Blade show up somewhere. But supposedly, Blade is going to show up towards the end of the season because he's been held captive by Dracula. So, this new season does feature the Fantastic Four. All 4 of them will be playable on Friday.
Yeah, and they are different characters. It's not like
Right.
a poke and dagger thing when you like switch.
Downtime for Marvel Rivals will start actually at 10 p.m. tonight, and it will go until 1 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
That might be Pacific time. But yes, so the trailer has been pointing to 3 new maps. Midtown New York City, which will also maybe have a new limited time mode.
That's cool because one thing I thought was weird about Marvel Rivals, like playing, I don't know if I played all the maps, but it was like, but like New York City is Marvel,
Right?
And there's no New York City, but so
Exactly.
it's cool that they have that now.
So I spotted Fisk Tower, the Baxter Building, and what I can only assume to be the interior of Stark Tower because there is a giant Hulkbuster just dangling from the ceiling, which looks really cool. Like, I have been waiting for a New York City. I was hoping that New York City would be one of the next places that they would enter or, be a playable map. I also heard rumors of Egypt because Moon Knight. So that's the first map. The second map is Midtown, but it's under a blood moon. So it's called Empire of Eternal Night Midtown, which I think this is going to tie directly into the LTM. I've heard rumors about a PvE, which is a player versus everyone, where I can assume that you're probably going to be fighting a horde of vampires.
Okay.
Dracula is going to be sending vampires, and I think it might be kind of something like Call of Duty Zombies, where you just try to survive as long as possible. This is just pure speculation. I'm just trying to piece together bits and pieces I've found across the internet. And the last map is going to be the Sanctum Sanctorum, and that is where Doctor Strange resides in. It's the giant mystical manor off of Bleecker Street. And I'm really confused as to what limited time mode that it could be in because that's a really small place to have a lot of fighting.
Is it?
Well, based off of, there are pictures, so if you want to go look it up online, there are pictures of what it looks like. I can't imagine moving a large payload into that.
Yeah,
I
I
could
guess.
maybe see capture the hard point, like if you try to set up an area and you're trying to assert dominance over it. That would be something I could maybe understand, but both, like, it's supposed to be versatile, so that you're supposed to use it for multiple things.
Okay.
I will happily break this down next week for Game Over as well, because we will also have a lot to talk about with that as well. Also, there are 3 other characters who are rumored to hit this season. It's going to be Jean Grey, Emma Frost, and Deadpool. And I know for a fact that I don't care, because there are difficulty levels for these characters. I am currently maining Rocket Raccoon. He acts as a support character, which is really shocking. I thought he would be one of the duelist characters, if you don't know, duelists are essentially the damage-doing types. They do a lot of damage per hit. I thought Rocket was going to be a duelist, but he shoots these orbs of healing that heal your team. And I've actually gotten MVP as Rocket several times because I'm not the healer that my team deserves, but the one it needs.
Yeah. Is Emma Frost gonna be a tank? Because I think she should be.
So that is, you are right. She is suspected to be what's known as a Vanguard character or tank, as you said before. The only reason being is because she can activate her diamond ability.
Yeah.
And she can become super.
Love Emma Frost.
Her skin becomes super hardened, and I can just imagine that people will have a hard time getting bullets into her or whatever energy pulses or Hulk
punches.
Yeah.
I love Emma Frost. Cool character. I'm also as you may know about me, I'm a huge X-Men fan. Love Emma Frost. Love Jean Grey. It was very fun characters. Cool to be it was yay, more mutants for me to play. So that's cool. And then we do know more about the different Fantastic Four.
We do.
And, what their abilities are going to be.
So Mr. Fantastic is going to act as a duelist, and I already got to see his gameplay. Did already have a trailer online. He does have a skin, which will be available for purchase after the update, which is the Maker skin.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's cool.
And that's been. He looks amazing. He's got Stretching Strikes, which acts very similar to Groot. So that's his basic ability. Everyone's got a basic ability that they can use to inflict damage upon their opponents. His Stretching Strikes acts so much like Groot's because his arms extend and retract. That's how he gets his hits off. So he can, deal damage from a distance, and it does act a lot like Groot. Groot's my second main, so I have a feeling that if I ever decide to go duelist, I'd be quite good with Mr. Fantastic.
Okay.
His multi-target grab, I actually got to see this gameplay too. He will take both of his hands, he will outstretch them, he will pick up two different players, and he will gnash them together, dealing a lot of damage as well. His muscle inflation, he becomes this really strange size. He kind of gets buffed up to Hulk's size, and then he becomes a whole lot less prone to damage. So his health bar shoots up, and it's easier for him to take damage and deal out damage as well. And then his ultimate ability is really fun. Are you familiar with the Winter Soldier and his ability?
No.
Well, he launches up into the sky, and he slams down with his metal arm. This kind of acts similar to it, where Reed Richards will launch himself up into the air, and then he does this spin. He kind of starts flipping, and he's got his fist in his hand, and he can just slam over and over again with his giant rubbery fists, which looks a lot of fun. I am probably going to play Mr. Fantastic for at least a little bit. I'm so sorry to my future teammates, because usually I main support and I at least get over 12,000 healing per match. So they're going to have to deal without some heals for a little bit. Secondly, the Human Torch will also be a duelist. His skill set includes the Supernova, which is he unleashes shockwaves to damage enemies within range. During skill activation, the flame field will transform into a fire tornado. That sounds really hardcore.
Yeah.
His second one is Plasma Body, which is he will enter. The only reason why I sound a whole lot more robotic is because you haven't seen the official gameplay yet, but his skill set has already been leaked online. So his Plasma Body is he enters a state of accelerated ascent, which I can only assume that means he's gonna have a flying ability, as he should. And then Pyro Prison is he connects the flame fields to form a firewall that deals burning damage to enemies. So I imagine that he can encase enemies in fire and trap them and do a lot of damage. He's also got a Flaming Meteor ability, which he dives towards the ground and stuns nearby enemies. And then Blazing Blast, which is he launches a fireball to create a flame field at a targeted area. Invisible Woman, on the other hand, had a lot of people worried at first because we actually saw the gameplay for Invisible Woman. She actually acts a lot like Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, cool. I like those characters. Wait, but that's you wrote here that she heals people?
She does heal people, which I can kind of understand why. She, just like Cloak and Dagger, she can go back and forth between throwing shards of invisibility of healing or damage.
Okay.
But when we first
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, but like that's how Cloak and Dagger. Okay, but like that's how Cloak and Dagger work,
right?
Because that's their like Tandy, Dagger. Like she does actually like heal people.
Right.
That's like what she does. Like in like the like that's like a big part of her personality.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to put at least each member of the Fantastic Four into one of the categories, one of the class types. So let's just look at everyone else. If you had to put someone in the strategist or healing division, it would be Invisible Woman.
Sure.
But I saw the gameplay, and it looked like you could only trigger her invisibility for a couple of seconds. And I had a huge problem with that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
But it did become apparent that if you ever played Sombra in Overwatch, it's a lot like that, where Sombra in Overwatch, she could go completely invisible. The enemy could not tell at all where she is. And it looks like that'll be the case with Invisible Woman as well. She'll have this ability where you can go invisible, you can sprint around the map, do whatever, and then after you become visible again, you'll likely have a cooldown.
Okay.
Before using the ability again. So her primary weapon is she alternates between healing allies and damaging enemies, much like Cloak and Dagger. Her shielding, so, in the comics, she is capable of generating massive invisible force fields, very much similar to how her skill set is like when she's doing shielding, which is she grants teammates a wide front-facing shield, kind of like Doctor Strange. I'm kind of thinking like in the game they're trying to, because this is something that people need to understand. You're going to have overlapping abilities. You've got heroes who have very similar abilities, but they're giving you a large roster. Now, no one's going to have the exact same skill set as another person, but there are going to be a lot of similarities. And then she's also got a knockback tunnel, which it's a mobility skill with an added knockback effect. I heard that it's like she can like double jump and then do a flip of some sort. Gravity Bomb deals damage over time and applies crowd control to enemies. I don't know what Gravity Bomb has to do.
Gravity Bomb does not make sense as a phrase.
No, it doesn't. And it does say here, double jump enhances her maneuvering during gameplay, which is nice. Strategists need to be mobile all the time because, like with Rocket, he's got a dash ability where you can use his jetpack and dash out of danger. That saved my hiney multiple times. It's very helpful. So the fact that, you can get out of the way with incoming fire, very helpful. And then her ultimate ability is she deploys a wide healing ring at a chosen location, restoring health to teammates within its radius. And yeah, that's it. I thought for a second that she was going to allow everyone else to be invisible with her, but that was later debunked. Next up is the Thing, who's going to be a Vanguard. Shocking.
Yeah. This is the character I'm most excited for. The Thing is my favorite member of Fantastic Four. I think he's so much fun. I like how sad he is, but also like he yells it's clobbering time, and he is Jack Kirby. Like if you know any, like I'm a huge Jack Kirby stan. If you know anything about me, and the Thing is Jack Kirby. He's from like the same street, and he like talks like Jack Kirby did, and he fights people like Jack Kirby did.
I'm looking at his skill set though, and my biggest problem is his ultimate ability isn't called it's clobbering time.
Oh, really? No, yeah.
None of it. So I'm hoping that they're saving that for voice lines. When he uses his ultimate, he better say it's clobbering time.
Well, if he doesn't, then I will. I probably will either way, because that's just the.
Because everyone has a voice line when they perform an ability, Everyone does.
Yeah, Jeff's is like singing the Jaws thing.
Right. Yeah. So surely they're gonna give us its clobbering time for the thing.
It is. I love it's like it's. I love its clobbering time.
Right. Cause that became so like that almost became a meme too. Like I've seen it used in meme formats multiple times.
I thought like it always like even back in the 60s, I think it was like it's like the rare part. It's like the rare piece of like Stan Lee dialogue that like does hold up.
Right.
I think Stan Lee dialogue holds up like when it is like Silver Surfer stuff and it's when it's supposed to be like super grandiose and when that fits, or when it's just like really silly stuff like it's clobbering time.
Yeah. So his skill set is I have a feeling I'm going to see a lot of 1v1 matches between Hulk and the Thing.
That's cool.
Which will be so much fun, as long as more people choose tanks. You want to talk about no one taking healers? No, not enough people choose tanks. So I'm hoping with more tank options on the horizon, people will be more likely to use tanks. Next is, so I didn't even go over the Thing's skill set yet. But he's got Slam Moment, which is he uses tremendous force to knock all enemies in front of you up into the air. You know whose skill that sounds a lot like? Juggernaut.
Is Juggernaut in the game?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I'm all for it once again. I don't know that much about like how video games are supposed to work.
Right.
But I have played a fair amount of like TTRPGs like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And there's like and a big part of that and the strategy is like battlefield control.
Right.
And there seems to be a lot of that kind of stuff in the Thing in Mr. Fantastic. So that's cool.
Next, it's Furious Charge. You can continuously charge forward, lifting up enemies in your path, leaving behind a seismic zone that prohibits displacement. That also sounds like Juggernaut.
That also sounds like Juggernaut. But you know.
Maybe we will get Juggernaut down the line, and we'll get the Thing and Juggernaut just like ramming into each other repeatedly. But yeah, it does seem like the Thing seems very Juggernaut skill set based. And then he's got a move called Battlefield Support, where he jumps towards teammates and adds damage reduction to your teammates and himself, which
I don't know what that means.
Super helpful. So imagine your cloak and dagger, right? You're getting incoming fire. He can jump right next to you, and then he'll form a little radius. And any incoming damage you take will be a whole lot less, just for like a little bit of time. And then he's got Combination Punch, which I think is going to be his basic ability, where it's going to be quick and continuous punches, probably faster than Hulk, because Hulk has kind of like a longer recoil, I guess, when it comes to knocking enemies back. So it sounds like the thing that the Thing has over the Hulk is he can go faster with his punches.
Yeah.
They might deal less damage, but it will be faster. And then finally, he's got something called Thunderbolt Punch, which is I assume that it's going to be like one of the other triggers. So one trigger is going to be his Combination Punch, and then his other trigger will probably be Thunderbolt Punch.
Is his so we don't know what his like ultimate is yet?
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't say. One of these, it's either going to be Slam Moment, Furious Charge, or Battlefield Support that I can see being his ultimate. Yeah. Also, we might get more info on that later today, and we're just going to be too early to speak on this. But yeah, no. So this is looking stacked, and like this is a lot of people are saying this is why Marvel Rivals is going to do better than Overwatch, because we just got 4 new characters in less than it's just been over a month after its release. That is more than Overwatch has done in a couple of years.
Yeah, and and I assume there's less like load in like designing characters and like coming up with like everything about them, because like there's 60 years of like these people these characters already existing.
Right. So it's gonna be stacked. There's so many more characters who plan on getting added to Marvel Rivals roster, and so I used to talk a lot about Fortnite on these segments. Since Marvel Rivals came out, I completely just ditched Fortnite.
Okay.
So because I also think it's more relevant to our show,
Yeah, and
we're probably going to talk more about Marvel Rivals. If you're still here and you're really confused about what Marvel Rivals is, you should
Hey,
go play
Mom.
it. If you,
Ignorance, Mom.
yeah, I know. If you're listening to this, we probably sound like the Charlie Brown teacher, right? Wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah. But I promise, if you give it a sec, and if you actually watch someone play it, because it is fun to watch too, just give it a chance. It is a fun game, and I don't see anyone leaving it anytime soon.
Yeah.
But we got 10 minutes left because we got Comic Corner.
Yeah. So so X-Men stuff. I think I was about to make a connection, but we were just talking about Fantastic Four.
Right.
The Raynor Graymalkin crossover finished up yesterday. That has been the Uncanny X-Men and Adjective as X-Men like crossover event. Gail Simone writing, Jen McKay writing, and like a bunch of artists, because these books are coming out very free, like 16 a year. It's been a fun crossover event. I mean, I think that there's been stronger.
It looked really tense.
Yeah, it's really tense. There's like another schism in the X-Men community, as tends to be. Like there's like Rogue and
Of
like
course there is.
Wolverine
Yeah.
and
Because it's almost like a civil war within the X-Men.
yes, we call those schisms
Right.
whenever they happen. Which there's been I don't know 3 or 4. But the main one they called so it's called another schism. They're fighting over things about like, hey, you guys are using kids, you shouldn't use kids, or like, hey, like Charles Xavier deserves to be freed. It's like, no, like he's been like a jerk to us and like done some pretty like bad things that I can't like get into right now in fear of the FCC. But yeah, it's been very good. It just finished part 4 the other day. The issues that are coming up look good. There's going to be another event in the future, Weapon Extraction, or X-Man, I don't know, something like that. They're going to be hunted, or they're going to be hunting someone. It's fun. The regular artists haven't been on it for this event, so you've been kind of missing that, but it is good overall.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been reading X-Force. X-Force, I think it was like number 6, number 7 came out this week. That was very good. You got to see more of like Betsy and Rachel. And then Exceptional X-Men number 4 that came out. There's like big reveals and stuff that I don't want to get into for spoilers, but yeah. Action Comic Weekly also ended. Yeah, so that's fun. The end of the Dan Mora, Mariko Tamaki thing. And that was cool. I would recommend it once it gets collected somewhere. It's like, a classic Superman story that is also stealthily about Mon-El. It's a stealth Mon-El series.
Oh.
If you like him, but it's very good. It's probably something that you're gonna be able to read. Like, there's some context, but not really. It's probably something in 20 years you're gonna be able to read. It's like, oh, this is a classic Superman story that really could have been written anywhere. There's a lot of Mark Waid flexing how much he knows about Superman. So good for him. And then Superman, like the normal series, has been really cool. And I think I talked to you.
You did talk to me about it yesterday.
This is probably, if you're gonna read any like mainline DC book right now, this is probably like my favorite of like the big 3 or whatever. Okay. There's a really cool Lois Lane is Superwoman again.
That was gonna be my question, because I'm looking at the cover right now, and that looks like Lois Lane in a Superwoman costume.
Yeah. Not this Lois Lane, but the New 52 Lois Lane. They are different characters, because like eventually they existed at the same
confusing.
time. She was Superwoman, and then but Lois Lane was also Superwoman. But so like that didn't happen to her, but she was Superwoman in like the Silver Age like 5 times. This is very good. It's like a date night, and there's like there's fun like interludes like, hey,
what's up with Superman taking Lois on date nights where she has to wear a Superwoman costume?
No, it's because like. Don't make it like that. They were like doing Superman and Superwoman things beforehand. Okay. Also, Doomsday's back from hell, so that's cool.
Again?
Huh?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
It's just because he dies so much, right?
He's died like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And there's also a reveal, but this happened like a month and a half ago, so I can say it. Very cool thing. I know I told you this, but you kind of rolled your head. Doomsday, like from the future, came back and he's like, hey. I need you to kill me one more time so I can become god of space and time, or else I'm going to kill your family. And Superman is like, no. And he's like, all right, bet. And then
You know what? That's how we need to start simplifying all our comic books, so our parents and our listeners actually understand.
yeah.
That's how we should be recapping it. From now
New
on.
Gods #1 also came out. This is a good series, fun series. Some stuff is gonna happen. I would recommend that. #2 is coming out next week. Absolute Wonder Woman came out, absolutely fantastic. Absolute same team. Probably like that series just gets stronger. Absolute Batman #3 and 4 came out. We get like more of like the origin. This is Absolute Batman. Is it called Absolute Batman Year 1? This issue. Sure. I'm most excited because this is like my favorite cover in a while.
It looks cool.
By Frank Avila.
He's got the bat axe.
Yeah, and the Scott Snyder writing stays good. You read Ultimate Spider-Man.
I did.
12,
I
right?
did.
How was
Ultimate
that?
Spider-Man is getting now darker.
Yeah.
It's getting darker, and it's like finally the curtains are coming down. Not everything is as great as you think it is. There is some real turmoil that is starting up, and I'm very scared for Peter Parker and the rest of his family. And that's the most I can say without spoiling anything.
I will say, the Birds of Prey 17, one of those storylines
Yeah.
wrapped up. Batgirl #3 is something that I was kind of like lukewarm at first, but has really grown on me. And it's like, oh, this is like a really good
Yeah.
issue. The writer really understands Batgirl. I forget his name at the moment right now. But next, and then Wonder Woman #17 came out. We kind of get the origin of the big bad. We get more about his origin, and some consequential stuff happens in that. Next week I'm going to be looking out for I've got 4 things coming out. Also shout out to all your comics. Always we buy our comics there. We try to remember to in downtown Muncie. Make sure if you live in the Muncie area, it's a great place to buy your comics. Jeff and Christy, you're
They're
great.
super nice folks.
Yes. Nice house. I'm looking out for Finders Keeper #1 and You Won't Feel a Thing. Those are 2 indie books. Finders Keepers is like a reverse Indiana Jones, and You Won't Feel a Thing is like another Scott Snyder jock horror comic about serial killers. So if you like that stuff, go get that. And the New Gods #2 and Exceptional X-Men #5
Yeah.
are coming out too.
I've only got 4 this week. I've got Ultimate Black Panther #12, which the ones I'm about to list off are ones that I plan on reading before my next class. So I've got Ultimate Black Panther #12. He looks to be going mano a mano with Khonshu, who Khonshu is the god that Moon Knight serves. Then I'm also reading Uncanny X-Men, of course. And then I love my Wolverine, the current Wolverine run right now. It looks like he might be under some mind control with a couple of his actual past foes. So it looks like he might be working with some of the people he's fought in the past. And then I picked up, I don't know if Aya is going to listen to this, but I told them yesterday that I've been on a Fantastic Four kick lately. And I was really hoping to see a Fantastic Four facsimile, which, if you don't know what a facsimile is, it is like a reprinted first issue or a super important issue in a comic book line. And sure enough, they had the first ever Fantastic Four comic book as a facsimile in Aya, and I was geeking out. I was losing my mind because it is a legendary, like the cover is legendary. It is awesome, and I finally got to get my hands on it. So I don't know what I'm looking forward to next week. I kind of just show up and has my comics for me, and I'm like, thanks, we'll report in on it on Thursday. But
next week we're gonna do a full recap of Creature Commandos. What else is happening?
And then we're gonna talk about season 1 of Marvel Rivals.
Season 1 of Marvel Rivals, and maybe we'll do more preview of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna officially use this as a shameless plug, but we're at least kind of working on a new Spider-Man project.
Yeah,
We Could Do It Better Studios is doing a Spider-Man little short film, and depending on, I don't know if I'll be able to get this in time to submit it to Frog Baby, or if there's rules against submitting copyrighted material to Frog Baby. I don't know. I'll have to email some people and figure that out. But we are working on a little Spider-Man short film, which is kind of based off of another short film that I did on YouTube, which gathered 57,000 views, more than 57,000. So stay on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of season 2 of We Could Do Better. I'm Grant Coven.
I'm Jonah Maple, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.